back to my channel. Welcome to all my subscribers and my new ones. It's always a pleasure to have you. So from the title, you guys can see that these are just a couple of tips and habits I would like to share with you guys as far as moving forward on a healthy hair journey, and also in return to help to grow your hair. Now, I know we all do things on a daily basis to make sure that our hair is fully maintained and, looking in order and stuff like that. But, sometimes we can be doing a little too much with our hair, or we can be doing a little too little with our hair. So I'm just going to mention a couple of things that, we can either increase on or decrease on while moving forward on our healthy hair journey. Now, the first tip and habit is heat. Now, we all have heard this so many times that a lot of heat is not good for the hair, but sometimes it's the way of making a style look really nice and your hair look nice and flowy. But in the long run, over excessive heat in the hair can really be damaging. So this will definitely be something to decrease. So if you use a lot of heat on your hair, maybe on a daily basis, try to cut back on the usage at least maybe twice a week, or if you can, once a week. But using too much heat in the hair can really dry the hair out, take a lot of the moisture out, and then you can get a lot of split ends, breakage, and a lot of damage and things like that. It was something that I used to use and abuse a lot in the past because for some reason I always thought that my hair could not have been styled or look good without applying heat in my hair, and that caused me to have a lot of damage. When I started to reduce the heat and then started to eliminate it at one point altogether, I saw a great difference in my hair, a great change. My hair started to thicken up and look a lot more healthy rather than using all the heat that was drying all the moisture out of my hair. So definitely try to decrease the heat use while moving forward on your healthy hair journey. And the next tip is relaxing our hair. Now, I know everyone has different hair. All hair is different. So depending on the type of hair you have, the density of your hair, the texture of your hair, you may require to do a relaxer at different stages. A lot of people might want to stretch for maybe 8, 12, 14, 16. Some people even go ahead and stretch for half a year. As much as these things are good, you have to make sure you know exactly where you lie with your hair, because a couple of months ago I was doing a lot of long stretches and I realized that it was really getting kind of stressful on my hair, causing me to have a setback. So I had to really see where my middle mark is to understand and know how far along after my relaxer I can stretch and then go ahead and do a relaxer. You have the line of demarcation, and if it's under a lot of stress, it can definitely start to break. So I know a lot of you might be looking at a lot of people who are stretching for months on end and then trying to copycat and do the same to your hair. And then you fall into a lot of distress because the reason being is that your hair is totally different. It may not be able to handle long stretches like that. I'm not saying go ahead and relax your hair if you see one small little inch of growth. No, I'm not saying that, because you still need your hair to rest in between relaxers before you go ahead and apply more chemical to the hair, because remember, relaxer is a chemical and that breaks the bond down in the hair, weakening the hair. So you have to give the hair a lot of time in between relaxes, to straighten back up and things like that. So me personally, I started going back to my 12-week stretch, and that works out pretty good for me. I can still go a little further, maybe up to like 14 weeks, pretty much my choice. But as far as going into long extensive stretches, I'm kind of holding off on that because for some reason my hair personally was really getting a little stressed out. Now the same goes for you, and this is definitely something that you can either increase or decrease, because if you want to try to be doing a lot of extensive stretches, try to make sure you look at your hair and see that you're not getting into any type of vulnerable distress, because you will definitely have to go ahead, break the stretch, forfeit, and go ahead and relax your hair, because by the end of it all you can just be damaging your hair. And likewise, if you're relaxing your hair too frequently, before you get at least a significant amount of growth, that's something you have to increase as well, because which means your hair is really not getting to a point where it has enough growth, or it's not even strong enough to be taking on any set of chemicals after the relaxer you had previously. So it's a kind of a give and take, and for you to really understand the type of hair that you have, because all hair is different, to know exactly where you lie and know how long you can stretch for and how much stress your hair can go under as far as going forward with these stretches to, number one, maintain length and not cause any damage to your hair. The third tip and habit to practice is protective styling. Now, I know a lot of us sometimes, we like to wear our hair down, put it out in the wind, in the elements, but too much exposure of your hair can really cause damage to your hair as well. By keeping your hair down onto your shoulders, a lot of times it's rubbing on the material of the clothing. You know, sometimes these things are a little kind of woolly. You don't want your hair to get all caught up in that. Now, protective styling is something that you can either increase or decrease. Now, if you're the type to like to wear your hair down frequently, it's a good idea to switch it up a little bit. You know, don't keep your hair down on your shoulder 5-7 days a week. It's good to at least put your hair up ever so often, you know, just to kind of give your hair a break from just being exposed to the elements. And likewise, if you're the type that protective styles a lot and use a lot of tension styles in your hair, meaning like you put like tight cornrows, tight braids, or even you just slick your hair up into a really tight ponytail, it'll be time for you to decrease some of that tension styling, because it can help pull your edges out, putting a lot of pressure on your hair and scalp, thinning out your edges and things like that. Really have to be mindful of the type of styles that you're getting. As much as they can be protecting your hair from exposure of the elements, protective styling can be really good for your hair, and then it can be really bad for your hair depending on the type of styles that you use. So protective styling is definitely something to increase or decrease pertaining on your preference and the type of styles that you're actually going for. So just be a little mindful on choosing these particular styles. Having a good nighttime routine, and when I say a good nighttime routine, it's either you're moisturizing and sealing your hair, or if you don't have to moisturize and seal, you're making sure that your hair is properly well put away under a silk scarf or something of that sort. Because just going and laying down and rubbing your hair on sheets and pillowcases can really cause a lot of damage to your hair, because you can have a lot of fluffy, frizzy hair the next day, and you definitely don't want that. And by developing a good nighttime routine, by tying your hair down at night before you go to bed, or even moisturizing and sealing your hair, by doing these things, it helps to retain the moisture in your hair, so the next day you really don't have to deal with fuzzy, frizzy, messed up hair. So practicing a good nighttime routine is definitely an increase all the way. There is no ifs, ands about it. You have to make sure that you tie your hair up before you go to bed, unless otherwise, you know. And if that's the case, if you know what I mean, make sure that you get the hair back up and popping under a silk scarf when you're finished. But you know where I'm coming from. But a good nighttime routine is definitely something that you should practice. It's definitely an increase, no excuses. And last but not least, it's hair tools. I'm talking about your brushes, your combs, your clips, maybe satin pillow rollers, or even if you have flexi rods. Make sure that you clean these tools before putting them into your hair, because number one, combs and brushes can gather a lot of dust and dirt and all that, you know, residue from your hair from using all different types of products. You want to make sure that these things are clean when you're putting them into your hair. And also with your flat irons, if you do use them on a minimal basis, you know, we are trying to just eliminate heat here, just lessen it down. Make sure that you clean those flat irons, because those plates can build up from any type of products that you've been using, and there could be residue on there that you need to wipe off. So cleaning all your brushes and your combs before putting them back into your hair is a really good practice, something you should definitely be increasing, at least washing them once a week, or every time you wash your hair, make sure that when you go to comb your hair through or brush your hair through or whatever, that these things are clean and you're not just like putting the dirty bacteria back into your clean hair. So I hope these little tips was helpful, and you can develop a habit, put it into your regimen, and see if there's any type of change that can help you move forward in your hair care regimen, because all hair is different and we all have different styles, we all have different techniques and procedures and regimens that we do with our hair. Everyone doesn't go through the same things, but you know, little practices and little things that you may change up as far as moving forward on your healthy hair care journey. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all of you who are subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.